gentlemen, dignitaries, government officials, and members of the press. We've come here today to present a revolutionary new concept to the world. Since ancient times, mankind and womankind have been intrigued with the following questions. Number one, what is it that binds us to the earth? Number two, why can't we fly like the birds and the butterflies? Number three, when I jump into the air, why do I always come back down to earth? In 1670, Sir Isaac Newton had been working more on chemistry and alchemy than on optics and mathematics. It is said that Newton wondered why objects fell to earth when he was sitting in a garden and saw an apple drop in front of him. This story is still believed by some people, although many people think it is untrue. To the believers, this incident, however, generally accepted to be the first actualization of the force that we now call gravity. Through the centuries, many great minds have tried to delve into the various aspects of anti-gravity, only to find their fertile minds bogged down with the limitations of physical science as we know it. As the world-renowned chief engineer Montgomery Scott once said, "Aye, Captain, you can't know the laws of physics." Unfortunately, it is belief in the previous statement that has hampered and hindered man's and woman's quest for absolute weightlessness for centuries. Jim's first challenge was to overcome that belief. The big but, and we all know there are a lot of big buts out there, was the beliefs are locked into our mind through years of influence, and overcoming that influence became the real challenge. Having accomplished that task, Jim was to move on and explore the possibilities of the science that he now calls Floatametrics. At this time, I will turn the program over to Jim for a brief explanation of floatometry and exactly how the irrevocable laws of floatometrics were applied by him to the demonstration you are about to witness. But first, let me say just one more thing. As we move into the realm of Jim's mind and how he views the world, let me implore you to suspend, if only for a few moments, your personal disbeliefs and prejudices. Open yourself and your mind to the possibilities. Gentlemen and ladies, I give you Jim Benkowski, the world's first and foremost floatonaut.
Greetings, greetings. I was born at a very young age, right here in Bloomington. Even as a child, I had an inquisitive mind. Events of every day caused me to go, Weightlessness was an all-consuming desire for years. As I grew and went to school, my interest turned to balanced fifth-generation matrix and its involvement in wingless flight. I was convinced that if we used a progressive fourth-generation initiative, I placed a cloned metallurgical matrix, we could achieve our goal of weightlessness. As I'm sure you all know, synergized action flex time brings us directly to re-engineered fourth-generation emulation. That's it. So you can clearly see how that at that juncture we were getting very close to our desired end result. By consistent use of multi-tiered needs-based monitoring, we began our approach to manage coherent success. We then enlisted the use of a digitized composite protocol to augment our versatile scale. Well, you know what that did as far as solidifying our managed including parallelism. Now we getting really close. We needed only to gain control of our mandatory dynamic matrices and we'd be home free. Our next step was to maximize the total tangible GVI and voila, weightlessness. Now, the mechanical aspects of my device would bore you with their simplicity. So let me explain briefly in this way. A horizontal hybrid ability is created by the anti-gravity core through the use of a phased uniform installation. Essentially what happens is similar to the uplift created by the wing of an airplane while in flight, but without the need for lateral movement. The end result is the creation of mandatory upward trending inheritance, or weightlessness. I coined Floatametrics for the process because it best describes the upsized neural protocol. To my mind, and I'm sure you will agree, no other term fully describes a re-engineered ecocentric core quite as neatly and precisely. I will now turn the program back over to my able assistant as I make my final adjustments. Bob?
Before we begin, allow me to put forth a word of caution. To anyone with digital watches, Palm Pilots or cell phones, please be sure to stay at least 3 meters back to avoid the negative effects of the synergetic systematic core. What you will see tonight in this location, for the first time ever, will be Jim's attempt to publicly conquer the Earth's grip. To slip the surly bonds of Earth, to dance the skies on laughter-silvered wings, upward he will climb and join the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and do 100 things you've merely dreamt of. He will wheel and soar and swing high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, he'll take the crowding wind along and fling his eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up, long, delirious, burning blue, he'll top the windswept heights with easy grace where neither lark or even eagle flew. And while with silent lifting mind he'll tread the high untrespassed sanctity of space. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to caution you, the energy field created by the anti-gravity core unit can adversely affect pacemakers, metal detectors, and large rubber objects. So please move back as I remove the synergetic floatametric core shield.
Oh no.
One last time. Please heed my words of caution. The energy field created by the anti-gravity core can have a serious, if not permanent, effect on radar detectors, prosthetic hips, and fuel-injected engines. I ask you now for complete silence as Jim begins his ascent. One more. Almost one. Remember October.
Good thing.
I will now remove the core. Removing the shield. Remove the shield. Shield removed. Check. Floatometric reactor on.
Floatometric reactor on.
Check. 20% power.
20% power.
Check. 12 degrees of yaw.
12 degrees yaw.
Check. Float.
Ten degrees yaw.
10 degrees yaw. Check. Excellent. Little hand. Now, Jim is going to increase the power to the reactor. The Floatometric reactor will at this time go to full power, and Jim will attempt to lift himself and the reactor. Power on.
Power on.
100% power.
100% power.
20% yaw.
20% yaw.
Prepare to float.
Prepare to float.
Float. Excellent. Replacing the shield. At this time, allow me to thank you for your patience and participation. If I could get a big hand for our floated on, Jim Benkowski.